I mean, you have Raditz. Raditz was essentially the good soldier. He was the weaker of the three that had survived. He was the grunt, and he knew it. He didn't really make qualms about that. It didn't seem to bother him too much. He knew what his place was. He just enjoyed his job. He enjoyed the slaughter. He enjoyed the, wreaking havoc, the destruction. To him, it was fun. It was a game. He still had a lot of pride in his race and how powerful they were, and the fact that they had a history of being these great warriors feared throughout the galaxy. But, he didn't really aspire to be anything more than he was. He just always, considered himself, like I said, the good soldier. Even when he was dying, he just took solace in the fact that the other two would come and finish them off. And he knew exactly why they would come, too. It wasn't because of him. Like I said, he was just perfectly okay with it. He was the penultimate Saiyan soldier, so to speak. Then you get into Nappa. Nappa, little interesting things about Nappa, really. He was definitely the more the muscle of the group. He tended to do more of the heavy lifting than anyone else, I think. Vegeta, yes, Vegeta was a lot stronger than he was, but at the same time, I don't think Vegeta liked to get involved as much if he didn't have to. He struck me as the kind that didn't like to dirty his hands, but he had others who could do it for him. Especially on something that he thought wasn't even a challenge or was a waste of his time. So yeah, my guess would be he had Nappa do a lot of that for him. And Nappa was frankly made for that. He was also very quick-tempered, not very even-headed. I won't say he's stupid, because he is smart, but he's also not that bright. He's not very quick-minded. He's a little slow. Once he figures out what something though, he's pretty good about it. But just takes him a little bit longer, I think, to get there. So especially with that temper of his. So yeah, that his temper is one of his biggest downfalls. He loses focus way too easily. But he's also a very skilled, capable warrior. So many people think that he's just muscle. He's got absolutely no finesse, and that's not the case. As demonstrated when he finally got serious and started attacking Goku, and Goku actually had to work to block and dodge. But he was also very loyal to Vegeta, obviously. He was pretty clearly hurt and confused by the fact that Vegeta pretty much decided that he was useless now and was going to just kill him rather than heal him and put him back to work. So there's obviously a sense of camaraderie there, more so than with Raditz, probably because, like Vegeta, Nappa was considered an elite, therefore he would have had more value. So on a societal structure, to him it didn't make as much sense. On level of camaraderie, it didn't make sense, and I think that's one reason why he was confused as to why Vegeta would do that. Though, frankly, with a broken back, it shouldn't have surprised him too much. Now, Vegeta, I've kind of touched on already. His motivation is definitely his birthright, his pride, his honor, this sense that he has to take his rightful place, that unless he's the strongest, nothing makes sense. He's just so wrapped up in his people's culture, in the practices of his dead race, that he really loses sight of all else. He's just so determined to prove that he's the strongest, to make himself, put himself back on the top of the heap, as it were. That he has to, in order for him to prove that he's once again the prince of the Saiyans, that he's the ruler above all of them, that he's, the strong. The reason that he feels he has to be the strongest is because that is how he's going to get his honor restored. That is how he's going to prove that he was fit to rule. That is how he's going to prove to himself that he is not, in essence, a failure. And, constantly being trumped like that, being smashed into the ground, I think explains a lot about why he snaps later. But I also think that, finally accepting that maybe that could never happen again is kind of why he started to move on a bit more. Which is something I'm going to cover when I start doing the plot videos again, which, yeah, those are actually going to come again soon. At any rate, that's it for this one. I know it's a little more awkward, but like I said, I'm trying to cover multiples, which is a bit harder than just doing one. And so, next time will be Frieza. So, see you guys.